Good morning from the Cottage Diaries. My name is Heidi and you are very welcome here. Can you believe the height of this Verbinia Valencia? It's going way above my head. Everything feels leggy this year. We've had 2 days of sunshine, but we're very damp this morning. So it feels autumnally already. Hydrangeas are now out in abundance. We've got another pink one through there. In June, beginning of June, the roses all looked really leggy and spindly, and the roses just were not properly formed. They've had a chop back to the fifth leaf, and now I've got a really good flush of roses coming on most of the roses down in the rose garden. But watering has not been a problem this year. I've got the watering hosepipe out once this year, and even then watered quite sparingly. I've done a really good weed through for the ground elder. Still some around, but I think I got 4 full trugs of ground elder out just in the rose garden and along in front of the stable block. The Verbinia and the Buddleia together look absolutely beautiful. The star of the show for me at the moment is the myrtle, just coming into flower. Look at these beautiful starry flowers. And then you get that stunning bark from it, and when the sun hits it, it's been backlit at the moment. Crazy good. Now this I cannot take credit for. This was one of the plants that was here when we moved in, and I'm so joyful that it was planted here, because it's not a plant that I think I would have put in. But I thoroughly recommend it for anyone that's got a medium to large size garden. You get that beautiful bark. The flowers are just crazy nice. And it's underplanted with big oxeye daisies. And yet again we wake up to another dismal day. The garden's colours aren't as vibrant as you would expect for this time of year because of the light conditions. It's drizzling, it's damp underfoot. I've got jobs to do. But like you guys, seem to lack the enthusiasm at the moment to be out here. I think there's nothing worse than kneeling in damp grass, weeding wet weeds out of a border. I've got some plants to plant that I've managed to procure at a clearance section, and I'll walk you through those in just 1 minute. It's an absolutely vile day in terms of weather, so I'm going to bring lots of flowers into the house to cheer me up because it's too wet to garden today. So I just nipped out and I'm doing a white vase at the moment, and that's going to go in the sitting room. So it's raining, drizzly raining, so I can't show you picking the flowers because my camera will get wet. But this is the yellow and orange bouquet I've just picked, and it's full of dahlias, achillias. There are geums and cosmos in there. Also some crocosmia, some daisies. I'm just going to pop that in a vase. Right, let's go and put this on the table in the breakfast room. Really pleased with that bouquet. That's bouquet number 2. So I've collected the sweet peas and I've got lots of beautiful sweet peas. I did point out at the beginning of the season that my own sweet pea harvest seeds took better than the Sarah Ravencroft seeds, which I was very disappointed in. But however, the Sarah Ravencrofts are the light mauve fruit pinks, and my own ones are the very dark purple ones, which I wasn't going to grow this year, but I'm so glad I did, otherwise I wouldn't have that many sweet peas. But there's my little bouquet, and that's going to go in the bedroom and make the bedroom smell all sweet and beautiful. And I've added a bit of flowering mint in there. I'm going to now venture forth. The drizzle's lifted slightly, and I'm going to collect pinks and blues. It's still too damp to take the camera with me, but hopefully you'll see my bounty. So that's all the blues and the pink flowers that I've collected. I'm just going to arrange those now in a bluish vase. And so I finished the pink and blue one, and these just the joy of just picking your own fresh flowers. And I'm not a florist, so I'm not a florist, but I'm enjoying doing this process of selecting some flowers from the garden and choosing a vase. Absolutely crazy weather. It's brightened up a little bit. We're just off out to our local in excess to have afternoon tea, but I just wanted to show you some of my clearance plants. So this is a Ficus carcia, which is a fig tree and best grown in large containers. So I have got it in one of my galvanized pots. This I got from Homebase about 10 years ago, and I think I paid the princely sum of £3 for them. They are rotting out, but they still look really cool. And then this fig tree, now have a look at this. Yep, spot the leaf. There is one leaf here, but this is why you need to check your clearance sections, because this plant wants to live. This plant was £49, standardised fig tree, and I purchased it for £5. I paid £1 for this form of Unanimous, which has got beautiful variegated leaves, but again you can see a lot of damage in there, but it will survive. I paid £1 for this Acer palmatum astropurpulum. So this is a purple leaved Acer. You won't believe that from this. However, again, there are leaf buds there. So this is having watering and feeding. And then I paid £2 for this Pittosporum, again with the variegated leaves. And these, let me show you what I'm doing. So the hedge between us and the cow paddock has started to be taken down, but rain has stopped play, and we've reduced the height by a good 4 foot. Then when we were doing this, we discovered that the hedge to the side of our property has duly died. So these stems here were producing all of the greenery in the next 7 foot section. So everything was folded over and not looking healthy. So all of this is coming out, and we are going to leave it open. We are going to change the barbed wire fence. We're going to seek permission from our neighbours who own the cow field. And what we're going to do is we're going to put chestnut put chestnut fencing in. The barbed wire will then run along the back of the chestnut horizontals, and then this bank we're going to dig out and dig forward, raising the height. So this wicker fencing will actually be wood to about here, a bit like we've done. I don't know if you can just see through the gate there. And this will give us a deeper border for planting, and this is where I want to get some of that variegated colour in, just to bring some light into this area. But already in the bathroom, which is here, and the utility room, we're experiencing higher light levels. We're going to start this project today. I'm going to start clearing some of these beautiful plants I've put in over the last few months and get them into other parts of the garden. She's coming in here to just clear up as far as the log store and as far as this gateway here, and that means getting rid of the ivy, but he's got to be careful of the plants underneath. So Archie's now digging in what we think is the old rubbish dump. So in the old days, people, when they lived in the cottage, they didn't have waste collection. So anything that was broken, pottery, and most things in those days came in pottery. So your jams would have come in pottery, your pates, pickles would come in glass. So everything was produced in glass and china. He's got lots of little bits, but he has produced this whole jar, which probably was a pate jar.
Another one here.
Yeah, it's got some really interesting china, and we will update you as he goes. But he's now digging down into what would have been probably, like I say, the rubbish dump. This is how far Archie has got so far for me. Really cleared the roots out, and he's put some steps in. We won't be keeping the steps, but he was having a muck around, I think. But let me show you what we found in the bank. Lots of broken china and glass. Some are extremely pretty. And we've got some poison bottles. Strangely, 3 intact ramekins. And the dog bowl full of glass. We've got an intact overall. No, that's an oxo. A 4-ounce oxo. Then the one that I showed you yesterday, all cleaned up. And then the London Gillard & Co Limited jar, which I quite like. We'll clean that up. Look at the bubbles in the glass, which is fantastic. 2 shoes. And a strange goblet-like object. And that's our view now out of the utility room.